This video is about taking care of my pan. This morning I cooked sausage in there, and so I've got a lot of grease. I'm not going to save it this time. I often save it, but I've got a sufficient amount collected up. So what I'm going to do is just wipe it all out with my paper towel. That leaves a bunch of crud on the bottom of my pan. Sometimes there's more, sometimes there's less. What I'm going to do next is wash out my pan. And I'm just going to use plain old water and my plastic scrubber here. And all that crud comes out very easily. So now you see I have water in my pan, and that's a no-no, because what happens to cast iron pans, they don't mix with water, they'll get rusty. So I have to dry it very carefully, very thoroughly, very thoroughly. Then to make sure it's thoroughly dry, I turn the burner on my stove and I let the pan get warm. Okay, the other thing I'm going to do is take a spoonful of coconut oil and put it right in the pan. Turn my heat off. The pan is still quite warm. As you can see, it melted all the oil. I'm going to take a paper towel, rub the oil in really good all over. So there's my pan, all ready for the next time I want to use it. Now, if your pan is really cruddy, if it's got rust on it, or if it's a brand spanking new pan, you want to actually season it. So you follow the procedure that I just gave you, but you also heat up your oven to, well, I've heard different things, anywhere from 350 to 500 degrees, and put the pan in there upside down for at least an hour. Then you bring it back out and do the oil seasoning again. Some people say that you should never use soap in your cast iron pan, but if it's really cruddy, or if the first time you use it and it's got a lot of rust and stuff in it, it's okay. Go ahead and use the soap. The reason they say that, soap used to have lye in it. And so if you're using a modern day dish detergent, it shouldn't have any lye in it. If your soap doesn't have lye, it's safe to use on your cast iron pan. And to get all of the rust and crud out of it, you may need to use steel wool or something. I have these pads that are a little more substantial than these. Scrub the daylights out of it until you get all that rust out before you do the seasoning. And, wash the soap out very thoroughly and then use water. Continue just to use water. After you've done the soap routine once, you shouldn't have to do it again unless it gets really icky, which if you take care of your pan every time you use it, it shouldn't get really icky. Mine was a little bit icky today because I waited a bit. You should take care of your pan right after you use it. Just as soon as it gets cool enough to handle, but not totally cool, is the best time to do the work on your pan. And do the handle and the underside, all parts of the pan. Now, I didn't do all the parts of the pan right now. I don't do it every time I do it, but occasionally you need to do the whole pan and not just the parts you cook in. Well, that's an overview of how to take care of a cast iron pan. The advantages of having a cast iron pan is that this pan will last you forever. Other kinds of pans, they wear out, the finish comes off, or it leaches. The only time you need to worry about a cast iron pan is very, very extremely small percent of the population might have sensitivity to iron. But most people in the population are iron deficient. So using the cast iron pan certainly isn't going to hurt you any at all. Now, there's certain things that you can cook in them, but not all the time, and that's real acidic things like tomatoes. Yeah, you can cook tomatoes in there, but I wouldn't do it all the time just because tomatoes are real acidic and the acid can kind of draw up and kind of ruin your seasoning. But if you use tomatoes or anything other that's acidic, you can still do it. Just be careful and don't do it as regularly as you do non-acidic things. These pans work best for proteins and vegetables that are not as acidic as tomatoes. And like I said, that doesn't mean you can't use them on tomatoes. It's just you need to be careful. Well, that's about all I'm going to say for today about the pan. My daughter was asking about what kinds of, she's needing to buy some new pans, and I've been trying to tell her that cast iron is definitely the easiest, the best. You get more for your money. My pan is small. My mother had a bigger, regular sized pan, and I don't know what happened to it. And I don't know where this pan came from exactly. It just sort of was with a bunch of stuff that I had. I think it might have been my mom's, but I'm not positive of that. Anyway, one downfall, they're really heavy. It's hard to pick up, and like if you've got grease to pour out, it's like really hard to do with one hand. But at the same time, you're not going to be holding a camera in the other hand. So it's doable. There are there are some videos on YouTube telling you more about seasoning your cast iron pan and keeping them in good shape. They all pretty much say the same thing. So if you question what I'm saying, just go ahead and watch more videos. But before you leave my channel, if you like this video, my hand, there we go. If you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that thumbs up button. It helps the algorithms on YouTube. And watch some of my other videos. I invite you to do that. And most of all, leave comments for me. I try to like and respond to every comment that's made. And I'm hoping that I get enough comments that I won't have time to respond to every comment that's made. That's one of my goals. But right now, I really try hard to respond to every comment that's made. So, while I think about what I want to say next, I think I'll just say goodbye. May the good Lord richly bless you. I'll see you on my next video.